special edition of Inside the Huddle. I'm Muskingum University Sports Information Director Tom Caudell, and joining me today to talk about the Muskingum University softball team is head coach Donna Newberry. Coach, a very special moment occurred recently here. 900 career wins down at Marietta. First coach in Division III history to hit 900, 25th across all divisions to hit 900. Can you talk about that and what that means for the program and to yourself?
Well, I think most importantly it's what it means for the program. To be the program in the country that's kind of the front runner of all programs in the country is special in whatever event you're talking about. So to think that we're the first program in NCAA Division III history to reach that 900 win plateau makes it very special. I mean, I think it's a tribute to the university itself, to all the players who have played in our program, to all the previous assistant coaches that I've had prior to now, and then what we're doing right now. So it definitely is special for the program. As far as special for me, I really don't try to count my wins and losses. I just kind of coach from year to year. It's special to me mainly because of what it represents for the university and for the program. It's not so much about me. I think it's about them, and it's just gratifying to realize that you could be allowed to stay at the same place for 36 years and coach a program for that long and have the level of success that we've had. But I think it's a true tribute to the type of players that we've had and the dedication that those players have shown to the program.
Well, the Muskies getting hot at the right time, winning 3 of the last 4 OAC contests to go into the OAC Tournament. 26 straight years ever since the tournament was conceived, 26 for 26. Talk about that streak and what that means.
Well, first of all, that streak was in real danger of ending this year. I mean, we ended up in a multiple tie for that 4th spot, and we were fortunate that we were able to win the tiebreakers in that situation. So, there were teams trying to break it. This was a year where we were very young and, had a lot to learn this year. So if somebody was going to break the streak, this might have been the year that they should have done it to us. But it is extremely special to think that you could finish in the top 4 in your conference that many years in a row and never have a year where you finish below the bottom 4. It really is incredible, especially when you have some understanding of how very competitive and equally matched the Ohio Athletic Conference is. It's not like one team has been that dominant and everybody else has not been competitive. Year after year, it's a dogfight to finish even in the top half of the conference, never mind in the top 4, and to be able to make that tournament. So it's just great that streak stays alive, and I'd like to see us tack another 26 onto that.
Coach, at the beginning of the year we talked, and you talked about a young team on paper. Started off with a very tough schedule in Florida at the NFCA class or at the NFCA leadoff games. Here you are at the end of the regular season now. Have you seen progress in this team, and do you like where it's at now?
I do like where it's at right now. We've played very well our last 4 ball games, our last 2 doubleheaders. We finally have the two key components of our game clicking at the same time, the pitching and the offense. And then our defense has been pretty much the most consistent factor all the way through the season. It's never really been what I would call bad or struggling that much, but on any other given day, it seemed like either the pitching would fall apart or the offense would fall apart if we got good pitching. But finally, we've had our good steady defense, we've had really good pitching, and we've had some great offense here. We went through a streak there where we're only scoring about 1 run a game for a while, and now we've been putting 7, 8, 9 runs up and hitting the ball really well. So I really do like where the team is. I think we've matured a great deal. I think the freshmen that are playing right now are playing more at a sophomore level. I think they're finally understanding what it takes to win a big game. They're understanding what it takes to win both games of a doubleheader, and I hope it'll serve us well in the tournament. But regardless, we at least get an opportunity to compete in that tournament and gain that experience.
Heading to the tournament this Friday against Ohio Northern University, number 1 seed. Played them a couple weeks ago. Not great outcomes for the Muskies. What did you learn from those games that can help you in these games?
Well, I mean, you can't let them get away from you. You have to keep the game close. They have such an explosive offense that sometimes it wouldn't even take 1 bad inning. It would just take 1 bad out almost, where you maybe give them an extra out or don't make a play that should have been made, and all of a sudden they're putting runs on the board. They can pretty much hit it out all the way through the lineup. You've got to keep the ball down when you're pitching and mix it up quite a bit. So I don't know that we discovered too much that we didn't already know. I think we already knew that going into playing them the first time, but we simply did not play very well. I think we're capable of playing much better than what we played the first time we played them. Whether or not that'll be good enough to beat them, we'll have to find out. But I know that we will compete much better, and I don't know that they'll compete much better than they already did, because they played extremely well the 2 games they played us the first time.
You touched base a little bit about the pitching staff. You started off at the beginning of the year with a pitching by committee that has since pretty much been reduced down to Carissa Diebler and Ashley Price, who've both been throwing the ball very well. What do they have to do this weekend to help the Muskies out?
Well, they definitely have to keep us in games, meaning they can't give up a big inning. They can't hit those funky innings that they were hitting early in the season, where they'd pitch well for 3 or 4 innings and they'd hit an inning where they'd give up 5 or 6 runs, because 5 or 6 runs in this tournament pretty much ends your hopes of winning a game, because the defenses are just too stingy. So, if they give up hits, that's okay. They just can't give up hits that are clustered together, which is what they were doing early in the year. They might have given up 8 or 9 hits in a game, but the problem was maybe 3 of those or 4 of those would be clustered together in the same inning, and that equals runs. They've done a pretty good job of spreading out the hits, where if they give up 1 hit, they haven't given up 2, or if they gave up 2, they haven't given up 3, and that pretty much keeps runs off the board. So they just have to have that mental focus that they've shown the last few games. They're not going to overpower anyone. They're not going to strike out a lot. People are going to hit our pitchers. They just have to locate the ball in a way that allows our defense to interact with the balls that are hit and give us a chance to make a play.
How important is it heading into the tournament right now on a current 4-game winning streak? You've got the elements clicking. Are you peaking at the right time?
I think we are. I never really like to talk about peaking, because I'm one of those coaches that thinks you should peak from the first game you play till the end of the season. I don't like to think that you have to gradually get better. You should be good right out of the chute if we're doing our job in winter ball and in practices. So I'm a little frustrated that this year it's taken us this long to play as well as we're playing right now. This is the level at which we should have been many moons ago. But the fact is, that's not the level at which we were playing, and I'm glad to see us reaching that point at this time. But I'm frustrated that it's a peak rather than the fact that we've just been riding the crest of the mountain all season. But at least we're there, and hopefully we can stay there for a few more days.
Coach, finally, when you played Baldwin Wallace at home this last Saturday, you controlled your own destiny. You knew 2 wins, and you were going to go to the OAC Tournament. How proud were you of your team for what they accomplished on Saturday?
I was extremely proud, because we have struggled to win both games with a doubleheader. We've had a tendency with the youth to play well a game, and then I don't know whether we let up or lose focus or exactly what happens, but we haven't necessarily played well in back-to-back games throughout the season. We win 1, we lose 1. The fact that they could string 2 critical wins together, the fact that they could win games that they knew were very big games with that kind of pressure on them, the fact that they knew that 26 win streak was on the line as far as our opportunity to make the tournaments. There was a lot riding on that game, and mostly maybe their own pride was riding on that game. So to see them step up and seize the opportunity not only is good for this year's team, but I think it really gives next year's team some momentum and some hope that next year we're going to pick right up where we left off.
Coach, thank you for joining us today on Inside the Huddle, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.